All right, welcome back. This is the second half of. Oh wait, no, fuck that. Sorry, they don't worry. They call me One Take Brad. So this will be. All right, welcome back to the Subjective 16. This is our Marvel DC edition, and I'm honored to have as our dictator for this week, Daniel Sloss. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Missing comedy. You've been out there back on the road. How is it?
It's good, man. I mean, it's still like it kind of feels like the tide's coming back in, but I'm also just fully prepared for it to be like in like 2 months' time, us all to be in like a second lockdown, and just like I can't believe they let us gig in September. That was so crazy. Like I can't believe we were allowed outside. But it's been good. Like it's because it's like smaller crowds and stuff, and they're socially distanced. It's kind of like being 4 or 5 years into comedy again, and I'm having to like relearn stuff. So it's genuinely fun and exciting.
Are you doing some of the stuff that you were working on in New York? Are you doing anything about the pandemic?
At the moment, I'm just like sort of seeing what material survived the pandemic, like what, like because there's like in the same way that like there's post 9/11 world, and then there was pre 9/11 world, which was amazing and fun, and then there was no such thing as war or racism. It was all fine. But this is some of the jokes just don't survive. They can't, because like you'll just be sitting there like, I was on a plane the other day, and the audience is like, no, you weren't. You absolutely under no circumstance were you going anywhere. I've not read too much new stuff just because I'm just a lazy cunt. That's just because it's still fun. It's just exciting to be back, and I'm just a lazy bastard, so I'm not going to write new jokes because there's no work in progress gigs. It's still like I feel like I just need to keep myself sharp.
Yeah, I love it. I think that it's so adorable that you think racism and war was all post 9/11. No, this is America, buddy. We were built on that.
Absolutely. Yes,
Now, the reason I wanted you to do this episode is because, one, I know you're a huge comic book fan, and two, you are my only friend that actually has a comic book character who is designed based off of him.
Do I?
Marvel?
Oh, yes, sorry. Yes, they did. Yes, sorry. They did.
Someone made me look like the biggest fucking lying cunt.
Sorry, but he's not in the actual Marvel universe. They've not created him with anything yet. I was just going, does he think I'm the actual Joker? Like, is that... yeah, no, Marvel got me into do their thing where I got to design whatever comic book hero I want. His name is Saltire. I'm still trying to get I want to get a fucking framed picture of it, because whoever thought you'd ever get that in your fucking...
So what is your history with comics? When did you start reading them?
A little bit later in life. Like my dad's a massive fucking nerd, but weirdly enough, like normally what you have is you've got like a jock dad and like a son that wants to get into like comic books or the arts or whatever. I was the opposite. Like, I've got a fucking nerdy as shit dad, but I love playing football. I was younger, so there was just he was desperately trying to get me nerdy like he was, and he succeeded with some stuff. Like, he got me into Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. I enjoyed, but it never really fucking stuck with me. But he always had these comic book collections, and I just couldn't get into them. I just thought I hated Superman because, well, he was invented as American propaganda, and he's infallible, and there was nothing interesting about him. But it was during my first ever Edinburgh Fringe Festival. I had a publicist who was just in charge of just taking me to fucking interviews because I'm useless. And he was like, I'm gonna pop into this comic book shop, and I was like, you fucking nerd! Like, oh my god! Like, why would you? Like, he was like, what do you mean nerd? I'm like, well, comic books are for kids. And he goes, you think comic books are for kids? And I went, yeah. And he took me in and he bought me the Man Who Laughed and The Killing Joke, 2 Joker comics. Was like, fucking read those and then tell me if you think comic books are for kids after that. And it was just like a different, especially The Killing Joke. It was just such a different level of dark and brutality that I'd never fucking. I remember reading it on a train, being like, "Oh my fuck! Like, I can't believe like this. I can't believe I ever thought this was for kids. And then just that festival, I became fucking obsessed. Started buying as many Joker ones as I could, and then started putting out to more. And then my dad was just thrilled that he could give me, recommend stuff. And now it's great. Now I just get to trade comic books with my dad, suggest things that he enjoys, and it's great.
The moment that he opens that, or she opens that door and he shoots her in the stomach.
Yeah, man. Like, just, you go, how? And no, but not even just that bit, but he shoots her through the fucking spine, through the stomach, and then does untold things to her, which we know what the untold things are. And then puts her dad through a fucking haunted mansion of pictures of his dying and abused dog. Like, that's fucked up beyond comparison. And I really like the Joker's argument in that of, the difference between me and you is one bad day. All it takes is one bad day. And also there's so many interesting theories about the Killing Joke as well. There's people that think that final panel is Batman killing the Joker because they think it's the one. That's why it's called the Killing Joke. It's the one joke he took too far, and that final scene isn't them both laughing together, but it's Batman finally just going, which is an interesting theory.
Now, speaking of Batman, there were some noticeable omissions in this bracket, and I want to thank my former co-hosts at the Showdown, Corey and Vic, for putting together this bracket. So Batman, not on the list here for representing DC, and if you guys can see the bracket right here, here's how it's going to work. Basically, Vic, who is a huge Marvel fan, rated his 1 through 8 Marvel characters. Corey, who is a DC fan, rated his 1 through 8 DC characters. And then we align them up to do battle with each other. And our dictator is going to decide the winners. Yeah, so some omissions. Iron Man, almost the entire Avengers group left off. Batman, almost every Batman villain besides the Joker. I thought the Joker was a little lower seated for me. Were there anything that you noticed about the bracket that stood out?
There's definitely, definitely some that I have not heard of. Like, I had to, because they were very, very specific. Like, I had to find out if World Beater Hulk was like a different brand of Hulk, but I'm pretty sure that's just World War Hulk, who is just Angry Hulk in general. I didn't know. I had to do some research on Legion. I'd never heard of Gorilla Grodd or Juggernaut as Karth. I knew Juggernaut, obviously, but I didn't know that storyline there. Solomon Grundy I was aware of. Magic was new to me. Doomsday I knew a bit about, and Sentry I kind of know. So there's going to be a lot of contentious fucking answers.
So let's get right to it. Let's start right up at the top with our overall number 1 seed, World Beater Hulk. He takes on Deathstroke, and who do you got?
I mean, this one is not up. It's Hulk. It's just Hulk is one of the most powerful. And I think Deathstroke's a fucking great character. My younger brother loves Deathstroke. He's got a 3D printed Deathstroke mask. But I think even he would admit that the Hulk would jucking rip him in half.
Second round, or second matchup of the first round, Galactus versus the Joker.
Obviously, I'm a massive Joker fan, but I cannot let my bias get. The Galactus is a world eater. Like, he literally. Like, I don't like the Joker's got a lot of fucking cunning plans. He's unpredictable, but no matter how unpredictable he is, unless he managed to get off of the planet before Galactus fucking consumed it, then I think he just falls prey to the mouth of Galactus.
Next matchup, we have Unstoppable Colossus and the Green Lantern.
I mean, Colossus. I think it's going to be Colossus. I know Green Lantern is powerful. I know that ring's fucking magical. But if you can be beaten to death by a table leg, then when Wood's your fucking weakness, Colossus would pummel him into the fucking ground eventually.
Next matchup, Black Panther, R.I.P., and Ra's al Ghul.
Oh, I mean, it's so hard because obviously Ra's al Ghul comes back from the dead, and we all wish Black Panther fucking would. Like, it's like Raz. You know what? As much as powerful as fucking Raz is, It's great. It's got to be Black Panther in that scenario. I just think with the fucking technology that he's got, with the fucking power of Wakanda behind him, I think Wakanda beats the League of Shadows. Not all the time. Like if it was to be a war between League of Shadows and Wakanda, I think League of Shadows would get the first couple of fucking blows in. But if Batman can kick your ass, fucking Black Panther can kick your ass.
Ra's al Ghul's never have it because, I don't know if you know this, he has a particular set of skills. And now, the matchup I was most interested to hear your thoughts on, Superman, property of our good old propaganda here, versus Legion. And they've now moved into our DC bracket.
Yeah, Legion is one of the ones I had to do a bit more fucking research on, so I think people will be annoyed by my lack of knowledge here. It depends. Superman's always hard to debate because obviously he's powerful, pretty much fucking unkillable, but can be beaten because of his traits and his morals. And Batman regularly beats the fucking shit out of him. I don't know enough about Legion, and feels like such a fucking cop-out, but Superman is one of the most powerful in the fucking world.
So to our next matchup, which is one you said you had, two of them actually you said you had to do some research on. Gorilla Grodd takes on Juggernaut as Kurth.
I really enjoyed finding out who Gorilla Grodd was. Like I'm going to start reading those comic books because it just looks like such a fucking fun character. But I love Juggernaut, man.
Solomon Grundy against Magic.
Solomon Grundy, I know from obviously he was one of the earlier on Batman supervillains. He gave man a bit of a hard time, but never anything too bad. Magic, on the other hand, is Russian, and they've got shit up their fucking sleeves. So, I didn't know that she's the sister of Colossus. So, I think Colossus would kick the shit out of Solomon Grundy. Therefore, appear of the same bloodline. So I'd have to say Magic in this scenario.
All right. And our last matchup of the first round, we have Doomsday taking on Sentry.
So I do know a bit about both of these. Doomsday is obviously the one that gives Superman quite a hard time regularly. But there's a lot of debate. I can't remember what comic book series I was reading, but where Sentry is just so fucking powerful. Like, I'm pretty sure he kills a god in one of the Marvel things. I think it's like Ares or something like that. But he's just like, when Sentry turns up, it's bigger than the oh fuck moment when Captain Marvel turns up. So Sentry.
All right. So that is our first.
Yeah. Okay. I also just say good guys tend to beat bad guys.
Our first round is over. Let's take a look at the results. So some of these surprises, Solomon Grundy, a 3 seed, taken out by the 6-seeded Magic, Black Panther, and World Beater Hulk, Galactus. Unstoppable Colossus swept their division, so we had a chalk Marvel on that side of the bracket, and the DC bracket, DC's not really looking too good. We only had, I believe, one. Superman, the only DC character to move on.
Well, see, now allow me to defend. For me, DC has always been despite Superman, I think, but it's always been grounded in a bit more realism. It took them, even though Superman's like a fucking alien, they didn't really get into the god stuff till much later on, whereas Marvel's always been more fantastical. It's been more, it's gods and deities and these super things. So even though it's so hard to decide. I don't think I have a preference. There's so many good things in both. But just if we're being realistic on powers here, Marvel would tend to win because they create more powerful characters.
And let me ask you this. So with the movies, DC's taken a lot of shit for their movies, and a lot of them on good reason. I felt though, so Marvel has shown kind of the formula for doing all this. If you're gonna do that was DC's problem. That's why Justice League didn't hit the same way Avengers did, because Marvel gave you these standalone movies for you to kind of identify and connect to those characters, and then seeing them all in one place was fucking amazing, and it didn't feel real. Whereas Justice League, they try to give you the Justice League and then kind of spring off from that.
Also, Zach Snyder can only direct good movies if he's not allowed to write any of it. The only good movies Zach Snyder has ever done is the ones where he's copied comic books scene for fucking scene. I don't like people being like, wait until the Snyder comes up. You're all going to be so fucking disappointed. The man cannot fucking direct a movie. He's shit. He's shit as the fucking Justice League. He's got nothing. It's not going to be good. And I'll be prepared to eat my words. I just don't think I will.
I think honestly, because so the movies that DC has seemed to do well. Joker, very well received. I feel like if I was DC, that's the avenue I would go. I would start making more villain movies, and I would make them super fucking dark, based in reality, and that would be my thing, because they're not doing well with the superhero side of it. But I think honestly for DC, especially Batman, the villains are the way more interesting characters. I mean, you have the Penguin, Scarecrow, Two-Face. There's a wealth of characters to go through.
Well, to be fair, both the next Suicide Squad movie and the next Batman movie look fucking incredible from the trailers. They hopefully seem to have realized that. I do think they decided to go head to head with Marvel, but that would be like trying to outbox Tyson. Like, you've got to go for a different tactic. Like, because look, I love the Marvel fucking movies, but let's also not forget what an absolute one of the greatest movies of all time, The Dark Knight is.
Absolutely.
It's
in my top five.
Yeah, DC have the fucking power and the storyline there to make it more great, and I think they've realized their mistake.
What was your thoughts? I guess on Daniel Radcliffe. Is that who?
No, it's what's his Robert Pattinson.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Daniel Radcliffe, it's the
brown-haired British. So, what did you think of Pattinson, and what did you think of Ben Affleck when they chose him as Batman?
Ben Affleck was a fucking great Batman. He just had the problem that he was in a fucking Zach Snyder movie. Like, that was his biggest part. That's it. He was a really, really good Bruce Wayne. He was a fucking exciting and interesting Batman. Like, it was clearly one of the ones where Batman's lost his shit. He's got no problem with fucking murder anymore. It was a really interesting guy. He just, unfortunately, Zack Snyder can't make good movies unless he's got no say in them.
That was, so you brought up literally the exact point. I had so many arguments when this happened, and I said, no, Ben Affleck is going to be a great choice, because when you cast Batman, you don't cast Batman. You cast Bruce Wayne. Batman is just the guy in the suit with a deeper voice, and good-looking, rich guy who's kind of a douche. That is Ben Affleck's wheelhouse, baby. That is where he lives. And yeah, I thought it was an amazing choice, but he was unfortunately the victim of Schneider Stantis.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What do you think of Pattinson?
I was, man, when fucking Robin Pattinson was announced, and everyone lost their mind, because all they do is remember Robert Pattinson from Twilight, ignoring the fact that Robert Pattinson has admitted since Twilight that he fucking hates the Twilight movies, and that he only did it for the fun. He openly shits on it, and he's also he's a really good actor. Like, he got all this success, and then he stopped, not to stop for a bit, but he went to do smaller fucking movies to focus on acting. And he's a really, really good actor. And man, that trailer looked fucking sick. Like, I was properly excited when he beats the fucking shit out of that guy mercilessly. You go, that's fucking Batman. That's Batman. That's the fucking Batman. I can't remember what comic book it was from. It's specifically, I'm sure people will happily tell me, and please do remind me. But it's in one of the Dark Knight ones where it's just Batman standing on a roof, and there's like one guy on the floor on the ground with a gun, and he goes, "There are but it's in one of the Dark Knight ones where it's just Batman standing on the roof, and there's like one guy on the floor with on the ground with a gun, and he goes, "There are 76 ways to disarm a man with a gun. 66 are quick, efficient, and painless, and one hurts like hell." And then the next thing's just a guy in a full body cast. And you're like, that's fucking Batman. That's Batman. That's what I want. And it looks as if they might have gone for that. So I'm excited.
I am as well. Let's go to our second round. World Beater Hulk takes on Galactus.
I'm assuming to have actually fought, so I'm not going to Google what happens.
It is a world beater versus a world eater.
That's because it's so hard, because like Hulk is arguably unkillable. Like I don't even, it might not even be fucking arguable. So like if World Eater Galactus was to literally swallow the world, you'd just have Hulk on your insides, and that's the last place. That's the last place you want Hulk to be. If you think Hulk on the out fucking sucks, right? You've seen what Hulk can accidentally do to New York, what he can accidentally do to these places. What is he going to do to your fucking insides? So I think even with Galactus's ability to eat the fucking world, the Hulk would just alien out of his stomach and destroy him. So I'll go Hulk.
World Beater Hulk. All right. Our next matchup, Unstoppable Colossus versus Black Panther RIP.
Oh, Colossus.
Colossus versus 2020.
I know. Well, we could do. Again, like when I talk about Black Panther here, because of you're not just taking into people go, but just Black Panther v. him. If the Black Panther were to ever actually face Colossus, it wouldn't just be him versus. He would have, the might and the power of Wakanda behind him, and he was a good man. It would be a threat to the fucking world, and I'll have to stick with Black Panther on this one.
Black Panther.
And again, it's because that was one of the proper celebrities that affected me.
Oh man.
Him, Steve Irwin, and Ryan Dunn.
Well, and the fact that he had cancer and didn't tell anyone adds to the lore of him being a fucking superhero. I mean, just
the pictures of him on the wards with kids with cancer are just it's a type of strength and love and caring that I hope one day to be able to, fucking fathom or emulate. So there's a lot of my bias is coming from the fact that I think a genuine fucking hero died this year.
Yeah, I agree. Next matchup, this is gonna be a very interesting one. We have Superman versus Juggernaut as Kurth.
This would be a genuinely good one to fucking read. Like, it would be a fucking fun one to walk through. But Juggernaut is a bad guy, and in that fucking scenario, Superman is not going to, normally the times that Superman gets beaten is when he doesn't want to kill the fucking other person. Like, he doesn't, his morals come in the way. I don't think he'd have a fucking problem throwing Juggernaut into space. He'd just be like, there you go. Off the fuck.
So you think it almost would have ended, you think it would be over in a quick one?
No. I think it would be good. It would be a fight where Superman got punched through several fucking buildings and whatnot, and it would be him doing what he does, which is trying to talk Juggernaut down, trying to talk to the fucking human being within him, but then with fucking Kurth inside of him, he's just like, now what? Fucking off you go into space. Get fucked.
You know what Superman character I wish they would bring back? Did you ever see Superman 4?
No.
Oh, it's wonderful. There's a blonde-haired, kind of evil Superman who's controlled by electricity and powered by the sun, and he has these long black fingernails that come out of his head. It is amazing. Give it a watch. Superman 4, Quest for Peace.
Okay, I'll fucking give it a go. I'll be high for it, but I'll give it a go.
Oh, no, you have to be high for it.
Oh, okay.
And let's be real. You're going to be high regardless. It'll just happen to be that you watch a movie in the course of being high. Next matchup, final matchup of the second round, our Elite Eight. We have Magic versus Sentry.
No, again, it's Magic's she's Colossus's sister. She's Russian, but I mean, Sentry has. Again, I'm basing this off my limited knowledge that Sentry has killed a literal fucking god, and also I know that he's not. He doesn't have the same ethics all the time that Superman or Batman does because I think he's got some mental issues, and I think I'll go Sentry.
Sentry. All right, and now our final four. This is where it gets a lot tougher. First matchup, World Beater Hulk versus Black Panther RIP.
This is, even with the might of Wakanda behind you, like if you piss off Hulk, you piss off Hulk. Yeah, I mean, Hulk is one of the most powerful ones. I think he regrets it, but you don't. Once you get down to Bruce Banner, looking around at like what he'd done to Wakanda, like Bruce Banner would try and kill himself, and then the Hulk would come back out. But yeah, it's gonna have to be Hulk in that fucking scenario.
All right, this is a hard one to cross off, but.
Aye, and R.I.P. to one of the greatest men that ever lived.
Superman versus Sentry.
I mean, it's tough. I know it's obviously Sentry's killed gods, but Superman, still never seen him, fully fucking die. And also, I don't think, to beat Superman, to actually beat him, you have to have tactics, right? If you go brute force against fucking Superman, we know how that normally ends. The only time he truly gets beaten is when he's outsmarted, and I don't think that Sentry has the wherewithal to plan. I think he would have the arrogance to stand up toe-to-toe against our Superman, and wouldn't go well for him, so I'll say Superman.
So Cinderella's glass slipper finally breaks. The run to the final, Sentry ends just short of it. Means basically we have chalk going into our finals as it's both number one seeds take on each other. And before we get to that, let's take a quick moment.
Are these both the number one seeds?
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Let's take a quick moment to do some commercial time stuff. And Daniel, what do you have coming up?
Fuck all, really. I'll just go on my website and that keeps people updated, or Instagram or fucking whatever. I'll be joining once I get a decent internet connection and I'm through it at my mum and dad's house to use their internet for this, because it's shite where I live. Once I get mine in, I'm gonna try and I'm gonna dip my toes in the water of Twitch just for a bit. Just seems interesting. I love fucking computer games, and yeah.
What game do you think you're going to start off with?
I think I'll play a bunch. I'm going to buy a PC for it. It's been so long since I got to do PC gaming because I've always done sort of consoles just because I just have for the past couple of years. So I'm going to dip my toes in a bunch of things and just try and get back into it.
We have World Beater Hulk versus Superman.
It's difficult because it's always the problem, because Superman arguably can beat fucking anyone, but the problem with Superman is he just wouldn't. It depends who Superman is against. Now, is there enough goodness within, the Hulk, even though the Hulk's done all these awful fucking things from Superman's perspective, he'd know that Bruce Banner was a good man, and Because otherwise, you could just literally fly Hulk into space, and even though that wouldn't kill Hulk, you just throw him in a direction, and you don't have to deal with him anymore. But I mean, fucking the Hulk's beating the shit out of Thor, man. Like, I'd punched him through mountains. He's destroyed planets. I'll go Hulk just because I don't think that no matter how angry you make Superman, he's not gonna fucking kill you. But you make Hulk angry enough, and also maybe Bruce Banner. Obviously it depends what Hulk we're dealing with. If he's got enough Bruce Banner in his head, maybe he'd be able to do something with the fucking kryptonite. Whereas I just don't think Hulk has a weakness. I mean, literally, you've dropped a fucking missile on. I mean, both have. It's so hard. Both have survived missiles. Both have. I'll stay with Hulk. I'll go Hulk.
All right, there it is. Hulk wins. Marvel, King of the Universe. Vic is no longer black and angry. He is black and happy. His choice. Marvel wins. That's the bracket. It is decided from here on out. World Beater Hulk is the greatest comic book character in history. There is no dispute. This is a definitive list. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to having you on again.
Thank you very much, buddy.